Okay, here's our video for our stick art. And I'm going to actually show you a couple options with this. So same thing, in your sketchbook, you're going to draw a rectangle. So you need to find something that you can use for a straight edge. I have this little tiny ruler, but you can also use the edge of a piece of paper. So obviously my little tiny ruler doesn't work for the long way. So I'm going to use the edge of a piece of paper I found, which probably has some random drawing on it, but you know, we're going to go with it. So start with that. Okay, so I got a rectangle here. Eventually I'm going to go over this in Sharpie, okay? So then you need to go outside and find a stick. Any stick will do. I'm going to use this random one. It's kind of big, but that's what I found, so I'm going to use it. And what we're going to do is create we're going to do like a weaving, like a drawn weaving, okay? So you're going to take and trace the stick a few times across, like horizontally. And then you're going to do the same thing and do a few times vertically. It's going to seem a little crazy. Don't draw too dark, okay? I'm going to push down a little bit harder on my pencil so you can see what I'm doing, but try not to draw too dark. So I have to turn my paper so I can do this. So I'm going to draw down. Now, if you can find a stick that has like some more movement to it, that would be awesome. This is a piece of random driftwood that I found that will probably burn in the fire pit at some point. Okay, so you can see now how many you add up and down is kind of up to you. Okay, I think that's going to be it for me. Okay, so it almost looks like a checkerboard in essence. So these spaces, like the every other, are going to be our negative space. So you have to create this like a weaving, okay? So we know weaving is over, under, over, under, over, under. So this first strip down, I'm going to have go over. So I'm going to erase where it would go over the other one, right? Okay, so then it's going to go under the next one. So it's going over this one, and then it's going to go under this one. So then you're going to erase the other ones. Oops. Okay, so then it's over this strip, under this strip, over this strip, and then we go over here. So this one was over, this one has to be under. So under, and over. So you're just going to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay? So once you have that done, I'm not going to do the whole thing because you would be bored to tears. You're going to take a Sharpie and you're going to go over your line. So like go over your border. Okay, if you don't have a Sharpie, use anything. Use a black marker, use a crayon, use a colored pencil. Just use something so that you can see the lines kind of be standing out. So like in a sense here, I'll show you. Because I want to be able to really see the difference with the weaving, like with the over under. Okay. So I have one for you. So do your over, under, over, under, over, under. So you have a weaving, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to start to do shading inside the negative space. So we know that shading is where you go from dark to light. So you're going to create like a dark edge and have it kind of get lighter in the middle. So you're going to push down harder on your pencil where you want it darker, and you're going to go lighter where you want it lighter. Now, this is up to you. If you want to do this part in color, go for it. So if you have colored pencils and you want to do shading with colored pencils, you can. It doesn't have to be all in black and white here. So if you want to use, I'll show you an example. So I have a turquoise pencil here that I just grabbed. If you want to use color instead, you're still going to do the same thing where you color darker on the outside, you push down harder on the pencil, and then you go lighter on the inside. So you put a lot of pressure on the outside, a little pressure on the inside. Okay? So you would keep doing that. So fill each one of the spaces. Then across where these bands kind of these, almost like these ribbons where the stick is, I want you to write some words, okay? So these are the words that I wrote, and I was thinking about things. Unity, understanding, peace, respect, equality, Black Lives Matter. And the other ones I wrote in cursive, so they were different. I wrote change, justice, vote, vote, hope, hope, vote, okay? So those are my words, and what I'll do is I'll go over those in some kind of black marker. You might want to vary your thickness. So like I used a fine point for that. Maybe I want to go over these in like an ultra fine if you have Sharpies, or if you have pens, maybe go over them in like a ballpoint pen or something so it's different, okay? So I'm going to write peace. And these, like you maybe want to do, like I printed the ones that were horizontal and I did cursive for the ones that were vertical, but that's up to you. You don't have to do that. If you want to use like all capital letters on one side and then lowercase on the other, you can do something like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to fill this in. If you want to use a combination of color pencils and graphite, you can do that. That's fine. All right, so here's a challenge for you if you would like. If you would like to do an actual weaving, you could do an actual weaving, because normally we would do weaving in school. So if you want to take in your sketchbook and take some scrap paper, like if you have some colored paper, and take a pair of scissors, you can cut these into strips, okay? So you can cut them straight or you can cut them curvy. So I did some curvy strips here. All right, so I'm going to use these as my warp. That's the part that goes across. And my weft is the ones that go over and down. So I'm going to use glue stick, except that my children have misplaced my glue stick, so now I can't find it. So I'm just using little loops of tape to kind of hold this down. But if you want to, you could do this with paper. If you want to do like a paper weaving, and then you can put your words over the top of the paper. Whoops, I just pulled that right out. Didn't mean to do that. Over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay, so I'll keep going with this. And then instead of having the paper, I could just write over the top of these. So if I wanted to write whatever. I could do it like this, right? And then at the end, what I would do is once these were all kind of glued down, I would trim them with my scissors so they didn't kind of like stick out from my sketchbook. So I would still do the shading inside the negative space. You could do that however you want. Like you can use graphite pencil or you can use color pencils, okay? All right, good luck. Can't wait to see what you can do. You can do it, persevere.